Hey y'all, it's Taylor Bridges back with another video, and today I am reviewing Married at First Sight season 16 episode 4. All right, this episode the spouses will meet the other spouses' families for a more in-depth conversation. But first, the couples are winding down from the wedding and the reception, and this is just their first real time alone with each other. They've been surrounded by people the entire day. Shaq is carrying Kirsten into the room, and when I say I was dying laughing, like I was rewinding it and forwarding it over and over and over again, like hilarious, hilarious. He looked like his knees were about to buckle. Like at any time, he couldn't even like lift his foot off the ground carpet. He's like shuffling on the carpet to get in the room because he was like trying to hold her up for dear life. Hilarious. I can't tell if Kirsten is tall or if Shaq's just not like a huge guy. I don't know, because he looks kind of tall at the reception talking to her friends, I thought, but I don't know. Maybe she's just tall. I don't know, but he looked like his knees were about to buckle. I was like, what? This was so unnecessary, especially because all he did was pick her up right in front of the door, take 1, 2, 3 slides into the room, and then put her down. It's like you could have just held her hand and escorted her into the room for all of this. Like, that's how I felt about it, because I was like, you look crazy. Like, it was hilarious watching him trying to carry her into the room. Shaq is all in already. Like, you can tell, like, he's excited about this process, but that does not mean Shaq is about to come ready for the, like, ready to be a husband. I'm just saying, like, his intentions are to really do well in this process and be married. You can tell. And he's definitely ready to make it work. Kirsten is just taking it all in right now. She says that it's a lot. And we are 16 seasons in. You know what you are signing up for when you get on this show. So I get it. Okay, it's a lot right now. I get it. Okay, fine. But we gonna need you to bring it now. Okay, we can't do this. It's a lot. Too much longer. Shaq finally asks for a kiss, and that went exactly how I expected it to go. And it was like, you were literally Mrs. He has to ask for a kiss, and then he asks for a kiss, and now it's you don't want to give him a kiss. You're not ready, you know. So it's just like, which one is it, Kirsten? See, these are signs. She's gonna come with these games. She's gonna move the goalposts. I cannot stand when people do that. You who constantly move the goalposts instead of just keeping it real to begin with. Like, sis, you said you didn't want to kiss him. You didn't kiss him at the altar because he didn't ask. Mind you, I don't recall her. Did she tell him that he had to ask for a kiss and that's why? I don't think she did. So the fact that he even took that initiative to begin with, instead of just going in for it this time, like he did at the altar, and he actually did ask, which was a requirement of yours. Oh, Lord, okay. But you're giving little miss move the goalposts instead of just keeping it real. And I don't like that, but we're going to see. Shaq says it's not his expectation that they will have sex. And it's like, duh. Have sex, but my thing is, how far does your expectation stretch? Are you saying you're not expecting to have sex that night, or you're not expecting y'all to have sex the first month? Because I'm thinking you're not expecting to have sex ever. That's really what I'm thinking. You know, not that there's anything wrong with him. I see Kirsten playing cat and mouse this whole season. I really do. Like, I really do. And even if they did have sex, I don't see Kirsten immediately being forthright about that, which is her right. But no, like, not that we'd ever know. Like, heck no. They do wake up all giggly and in a good mood. So I'm enjoying the ride while it lasts. I know it's about to turn up, but I'm enjoying the ride while it lasts. And who asked Kirsten, did her and Shaq have sex? Like, was that a real question? Like, duh, y'all ain't had sex? Duh. Like, why would somebody even ask Kirsten that? Duh, we know they are not. We did not need that. We did not need that question answered. None of us questioned whether or not Kirsten and Shaq had sex. Did Kirsten and Shaq really sleep in the same bed last night? Did Kirsten and Shaq even really sleep in the same room? Seriously, when the cameras were gone, like, I could see Kirsten be like, all right, cameras are gone, let's go. Y'all already know. Y'all know I'm not sleeping in the bed with him. Well, whatever. She says the wedding was amazing and it didn't feel like they were strangers at all. So I was like, okay, that's a good, I like their start. I like the start. It's a little shady in some ways, but in some ways I can see, you know, no, I really can't, but in some, I'm excited while it lasts. Let me just put it that way. I really am. I'm really happy while it lasts. So I'm rooting for them. Nicole and Chris are just vibing. Like, there's just really not much to say about it. Chris is a nice guy. Nicole is going to cry every other scene because she's never been with a nice guy. And no, look, no, I'm not judging. I'm just simply observing and predicting. Nicole has not turned up yet, though. So we'll see. Will she? Will she turn up yet? But we'll see. But it's really not much. They're just feeling each other. And I'm happy to see it. Like, I really am. Dominique and McKinley are chatting in the room. And they get to kissing. And I'm like, it is so interesting. Like, how does one develop the angst and desire to kiss like a complete stranger that you've never known and spoken to? You've only spoken to for maybe about 2 hours total. Like, yes, I can understand the kiss at the altar, right? Because that's tradition. Kiss at the altar, fine, right? But like a full-on like make out, tongue down thing, like with a I've known you 2 hours, like I don't know. Ooh, no. And then on national TV, I think that's interesting. I think that's super like risky behavior. Like, I grew up watching Fear Factor. I love Fear Factor. I would go on that show. I don't mind. I'll do all of that stuff. Eat, jump off cliffs, all of that. Where I draw the line now, some real risk taking daredevil stuff is this stuff that this tonguing down with a stranger. And all this mess on national TV. That's where I, like that. That takes a lot of gumption and angst for a lot of reasons. For a lot of different reasons. Dominique says she is a great cook and she has catfish in her freezer that she caught and cleaned herself. She gets down and dirty and expects the same from him. And okay, you expect that from a complete stranger that you do not know. Okay. I wonder if she shows up masculine and or aggressive in her romantic relationships. You know, and I'm not saying like the fisherwoman, country gal, etc. type isn't feminine. I'm not saying that. But I'm just piecing together her behavior thus far. She kind of moves like a little masculine. Just that's what I'm reading. Okay. Aries and Jasmine are in the room and he says he's thankful for the experts in Jasmine. Are you? We're going to see, but I predict that you're not going to feel that same way by the end of this process. The experts always, okay, more often than not get it wrong. So I'm pretty sure they got it wrong with you and Jasmine. So we'll see how thankful you are, you know, at the end. Jasmine says it's nerve-wracking having to strip down the hair, the makeup, clothes, and show him in her natural state. And that's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know if that's such a positive thing. And I think that's kind of one of those tools that should be one of those tools one should be equipped with. That confidence tool, that high self-esteem tool, one should be equipped with before getting into a serious not even a serious marriage. That's just my opinion. Thankfully, she does look the same for the most part without makeup. And she's super cute in her pink lingerie. And he's definitely feeling her. She's a beautiful woman with or without makeup. So that's not the issue. But she needs to know that. Like saying like how it's nervous for someone to see you in your natural state. Like, I don't know. I think that's a bit of self-esteem lacking there, my opinion. When they wake up, they're lying with, you know, their eyes closed, and he fake wakes up, she fake wakes up, and I'm like, y'all could have shot that again. Pitiful. That looks like so fake and ridiculous. Like, why do they do this with this full face of makeup on? hair out as if you didn't wear a bonnet. You know, like that's ridiculous. Or why couldn't they get well, yeah, why couldn't they give them a shot like already up, sitting in bed after eating, you know? It looked like they had already been up for 20 minutes. Like they were just waiting on y'all to come and film, you know? So did she sleep on his chest the whole night? Because I admire people that can sleep still. I sleep like a complete maniac. And wouldn't his arm fall asleep? Like, is that comfortable to kind of stay in one spot the whole night? Like laying on somebody that don't get hot? I know me, I like my freedom. I likes my freedom. After so long, when I'm in my deepest of sleeps, I like to just have my freedom. He makes a comment about her bacon, and that is super annoying. You know, worry about your food and your diet. I hate that. You know, as a former vegetarian for many of years, I didn't judge people for what they ate at all. I educated if people had questions, but I didn't care if you ate meat, if you were a vegetarian, or anything in between. You know what I mean? Plus, it's actually pretty tacky to start pointing out, you know, someone's food. That's pretty childish. Like, ew, what's that? Like, oh, look at that. Like, that's super. Do not start pointing at my food, and that's just immature. And mind your plate. Like, don't start worrying about what's on my plate, like at all. Like, that is super annoying. Super annoying. Worry about, you don't. It's not for you to eat. That was super annoying. I do hate that they have all of the couples talking while trying to eat breakfast. It's actually pretty gross. Like, I already hate when people chew with their mouths open. So like they have to talk and chew, and it's nasty. Like they clearly can't even enjoy their breakfast because they're having to have a back and forth. And we do it all the time, like at brunch and all that stuff. But like, you know, we give, you know, you maybe be like, hold on a second, let me finish eating what I was eating, blah, 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 blah. You know, they have to kind of, the producers are just all up in their tonsils, just all up in the grill. Like, back up. Let them people eat. Like, why can't they just eat and then, like, the bowl and plate, like, let it still sit there if that's what y'all want to do. And they can kind of, like, finish off the last of the orange juice or something. But I think it's just super nasty. Like, I really had to, like, look down on damn near the everyone's scenes because I can't watch you talk and eat. Like, that's nasty to me. Ew. Clint and Gina are in the room. By the time we get to their room, all 5 of the 5 women looked beautiful without their makeup, which I was really like excited and, you know, happy about. Like, they looked pretty much the same and looked really good, all of the women. I'm really loving how the majority of the couples are expressing physical and sexual attraction, because it's not fun when they don't like each other. You know, anytime a couple isn't attracted to each other, it ends up being their storyline the whole season, you know, and they never come back from it. They never do. That just ends up being all we talk about, no matter what. Even if they make 2 steps forward, it always ends up coming down to the fact that there's no chemistry or attraction. It never ends up changing. Rarely for both people once it starts out that way with no attraction. So, you know, it's episode 4. I'm giving Kristen till about episode 7, maybe episode 8, and that is generous to start liking Shaq or call it quits. Like, for real. Like, we're not about to do this cat and mouse the entire season. It's like, it's not fun. Like, come on. Like, it's just so much more interesting when they're into each other. Like, we'll get into, you know, the honeymoon when they're in Jamaica. But I love, like, all the other 4 couples that did go to Jamaica. Like, I do love how they were very affectionate, like Nicole pointed out, and just touchy-feely with each other. Like, that makes it more fun when you like them. Like, I at least want to try to guess if you're getting a divorce or staying married. You know what I mean? But it's like, if we did 8 episodes of y'all not being attracted to each other, Jasmina and Michael, or Jasmina towards Michael, we are not, we know, why do we need y'all on the episode? We know y'all are getting a divorce. Duh. Y'all didn't like each other the whole marriage, the whole season. You know what I mean? Like, give us like the Lindsay and Mark, where you like, you know, they've been toxic the whole season, but they always make up for it. They both toxic. They both crazy. They might just stay married. They might not, but they might. Which one is it? Like, something. but more than you going 8-9 episodes just in total. Y'all ain't kissed yet. Y'all ain't do nothing. Like, no. So we gonna need you to hang it up if you're not gonna get with it. On the wake up, Clint says he's a morning person, up at 5:30, 6, energized and ready to go. That's me, and I'm loud in the morning. I'm up. Like, I get up early, like super, super early all the time. I love it, love it, love it, and I get to it. I'm always energized when I wake up. So my boyfriend is the exact opposite. So we've had to work through that because I could be really annoying in the morning. I have like all the energy in the morning. It's ridiculous. And I'm talking before the sun is even up. It is so easy for Gina to fall into a monologue about her career and business. She's coming off a little self-centered. And it's like, sis, there has to be more to you than your career. Gina, you give me a little glimpse as to why you single, sis. You're not coming off as the most eligible bachelorette. You kind of giving Nicole that title, and I didn't think at all I would be saying that. But you come in a little light. You coming up a little light in the eligible bachelorette department because, sis, you're not aware, girl, at all. We will get more into it. So meeting the spouses, much like the wedding and the reception, I'm not hugely interested in the meeting of the spouses segment. I like to get to the honeymoon because that's where it starts to really get popping off. I like to do it. But remember Lindsay and Elijah Wan got into it on the plane to the honeymoon. See, that's how you know the honeymoon is where it gets started. Like, because that's when it popped off. Was that last season? Yeah, right? Yeah, that was last season, I think. I'm pretty sure. Either last season or 2 seasons ago. I don't know. I think, no, 2 seasons, I think. Whatever, doesn't matter. But sometimes meeting the spouses brings a little tea, so it's worth a gander. I'll point out the parts that I found interesting. Kirsten is with Shaq's friend and uncle. She talks really slow. I just noticed it because I talk really fast. Shaq is with her cousin and 2 girlfriends. They're not sold on his intentions to be married. And it's like, so who are you? Kirsten and Shaq signed up for the exact same show. It's not like Shaq met Kirsten and it's like, courted her and now, he's like, am I worthy of Kirsten's hand in marriage after Kirsten signed up to be his wife. She literally signed up to be somebody's wife. She didn't want y'all's opinion on the man before she married him. Clearly. You see that? If she wanted y'all's opinion on the matter before she married him, she wouldn't have signed up for Married at First Sight. So chastising Shaq is wrong. Like, I wouldn't take that. You don't trust his intentions. So I could say the same about Kirsten. Y'all are on the same playing field here. Y'all are equal level. Okay? They say she takes time to open up. And I get that, but we're not spending 5 episodes on her being stale and shy. Put people on the show that are ready to clock in and work. I'm not going on a reality TV show about marriage. I'm not kissing a stranger on TV. I'm not talking about whether I'm having sex or not. I'm not putting myself in a position to be stuck with a stranger that I can potentially stand. Right? Like, so I wouldn't sign up for Married at First Sight because I'm not willing to do those things. Right? There are people courageous enough to do it. And those people are amazing for this show. You know how they say get somebody else to do it? Get the person that wants to do it. We want to show up. Bring it. We ain't got time for this shy, stale attitude. Does Shaq look 31? I don't know. Does Shaq look 31 to y'all? McKinley is meeting with Dom's mother, grandma, and I think that's her friend. The grandma asks, how did you ever get away since the women are so hungry for men? Or was it thirsty? One of those. I think it was hungry for men. Okay. I mean, I can see that. Yeah, McKinley is a handsome guy. He supposedly has his stuff together. I don't know. This living with your friends' parents thing is just really weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll get more into it later. But okay, Grandma. They also ask if he's dated a woman from a different race, and he says he's only dated white and Latino, and he's gone on dates with black women, but they hadn't returned the same. But he hasn't had any return luck from black women. And her grandma is concerned about the difference in race and says that Dom is used to dealing with it, but it is new to him. And I do think it's a valid concern to discuss. It may be uncomfortable for some people, but it's going to have to be addressed. So I do think this is a good time to get ahead of the subject, because it is true, especially probably from where they live. You know what I mean? Tennessee. Probably it might still be an issue, you know, or something like super noticeable or worthy of being addressed. I totally think it's worthy of being addressed. Especially never being with a woman of that culture, and you haven't even been like in a serious relationship of a woman with that culture. You're literally thrust into a marriage with a woman of a different culture. And Dominique has dated white guys. I'm assuming that's what her grandmother meant. Like, Dominique is not new to her. So that's that. But I don't know. I think maybe dating and courtship is where those tough conversations and questions and concerns get ironed out. And I think that was super valid for grandma to bring it up. Dom is with McKinley's people. She says he's not acting shy with her. I think that's cool. Okay. They don't really talk about much though. They ask, why does she want to marry a stranger? And she says her mom signed her up because she deserves someone wholehearted and committed. And I think that's a terrible reason to be married right now, because your mom signed you up. I don't think that's that. See, remember how so she has the tag of being an old soul, and I called out from the beginning how I don't see it, and like this just further perpetuates my theory. Like, sis, that sounds nuts. Why did you want to marry a stranger? Because your mom signed. Why did you want to get married? Okay, because your mom signed you up. His mom said she found it to be nuts, and she just sat there and continued eating her food, and I don't blame her. It is nuts. Absolutely. Gina is talking to Clint's friend, and I think his dad. I think that was his dad. The friend asked if she found Clint sexy. She should have just said yes and kept it moving. She goes into another monologue about her exes and their hair color and how she wasn't initially attracted. And we know everything about this ex and his hair color, except for the last 4 of his social security. We know all this and that about this ex. She should have just said, yes, I find him sexy, and keep it pushing. If she's not going to be able to read the room, I'm not going to like her. I don't like people like that. Okay. Gina's sister-in-law asks Clint what's something that could cause him to shut down. And I think that's an excellent question. Because honestly, Clint gives me a little bit emotionally unavailable. Just initially, it's an assumption. We don't know. I do not know at all. It's just that's the vibe I'm getting from him. So I think it's an excellent question. He says something that could cause him to shut down is if they're being hard-headed and not seeing each other's viewpoint. And he's expecting them to be able to talk it out. And I think that that's a huge expectation for a complete stranger. I think that it is a reasonable expectation in a relationship that has been cultivated, built upon, and communication standards have been set and maintained. Yeah, it would be great for y'all to bump heads and be able to talk it out every time. But then what happens when it's like neither one is budging, especially because y'all are strangers? So there's a little less empathy, a little understanding, a little less context into who this person is and why they are the way they are, why they think the way they do, why they behave the way they do. Family history, past traumas. You don't know those things, and as you get to know someone and those things are revealed to you, you do I believe most times, if used properly, pardon me, it's getting a little warm. If used properly, begin to communicate and handle people differently. So I think that's a big expectation. And I feel like as a 41-year-old man, you should know. And if that's going to cause you to like shut down. Now, I can see shutting down in the midst of an argument, meaning like taking a step back, like we're not getting anywhere. So let me just pull back. Let's just stop the conversation for now and come back to it maybe in an hour when we both calm down, because we're both being hard-headed and we're not communicating effectively. I can see that. But we don't need like we don't want, I'm not trying to see you throughout the season, y'all argue and you throw out divorce, or you use that as, use that against her throughout the season, because and that be your way of shutting down. That's not what I'm trying to see. The sister-in-law says the red flag is how similar they are. And I can see that. I can see them both being pretty self-centered, both being pretty successful, both live the life they want to live, and they maintain it, and they are happy, and they're fulfilled. And they're probably busy with the guys and the gals, and him with the guys, her with the gals, work, girls trips, family. I mean, I do see a lot of similarities in them. So I can see that being a reason why they butt heads, like Clint wants so much to avoid. Jasmine is with Eris's family, and I get the cousin. I get why the cousin thinks it's insane, but okay, now the man is married. So let's wrap this pouting party up. He's married. Okay, yes, I agree. Yes, but now here we are. So let's buckle up and let's just enjoy the ride. Like, here we are now. They've done it. Nah, it's happened. Okay. Chris is with his in-laws. The dad says he doesn't see his daughter as replaceable, and tell that to the men she can't get to commit. You think your daughter is so irreplaceable. That's not what the market says. And I'm not saying Nicole is replaceable. I'm just saying, as a dad, judging Chris, once again, like Kirsten with Shaq, Nicole signed up for this process. If she wanted your opinion on the guy before she got married, Dad, she wouldn't have not signed up for Married at First Sight. But it looks like she didn't need it. That wasn't important. That wasn't on that wasn't the top on the list. Seriously. So you worrying about whether she's replaceable or not, that's really not your call. She knows she's not replaceable as your daughter. She's already your daughter. But what do the men on the market say? Because they have a say in how they feel about her. Honeymoon, we're getting started on it. The couples are honeymooning in Jamaica, and that's super excited. Not Gina thinking it was the Bahamian flag, girl. That's all right. Nicole asks Chris if they're going to have sex in Jamaica. She is ready. And, I'm not mad at it, simply because Chris reciprocates. If Chris was giving like uncomfortable energy, then I'd be like, girl, no, because if that was a man doing that, it would be a problem. And Nicole doesn't get a pass just because she's a woman. However, Chris was reciprocating the energy. And I think I actually like, especially since Chris is a little shy. And like he said later on the episode, he ended up bringing like this girl on vacation, and she ended up like not liking him, not touching him, being mean to him. Since clearly he has had issues in the past of reading women and their feelings for him and reading what their relationship is, I think it's really cool that Nicole is vocalizing how she feels about him and what she wants to do with him. That way, because he might be a little nervous now to kind of take that initiative, because he's like, I don't want to get it wrong again. So for Nicole to be so clear and just as intentional and articulate about her intentions, I actually really like it, especially, like I said, because he accepts it. He appreciates it. So I think that's really dope for Chris. And clearly Nicole feels Chris's attraction to her, and that's why she ready, baby. Okay. Shaq tells Kirsten, pardon me. Because my name is Taylor and people call me Tyler, and that it doesn't annoy me, but it's like my name is Taylor. So Shaq tells Kirsten that he has to present a paper, so they can't go to the honeymoon just yet. He tells her she's coming to Jackson, Mississippi with him, and I'd be irritated. Drop me off at Jamaica. I don't know you. I can at least be at the resort with the unlimited drinks and at the beach. Like, why does he get to make that decision for her? When you're done, you can join me in Jamaica. I'll be there waiting for you. Like, talk about he wants to show himself in the element, and it's like, y'all have plenty of times for that. Like, I'm sure, isn't there like a project or something at some point later on in the season where they have to kind of bring the person back to their roots and something that they love, something like that? Like, you'll have plenty of time. Like, I would have been mad. Like, not mad, but drop me off at Jamaica. Like, and there have been spouses on previous seasons that have contracted COVID or something before the honeymoon, and the other spouse was able to go on the honeymoon. They were there by themselves, but still it appeared like they at least had a choice in the matter. Like, yeah, you got COVID. Okay, I'm sorry, but like, I could go to here. Like, I don't know. I just don't. I can see a case for one to say that's your husband, so you should go support him. I can see the case for that for sure. However, she should have had a choice. It should have been her choice. I can see the case saying, girl, that's not, you need to go support your man. You need to go support your husband. This is a test. It's the beginning of y'all marriage and you already not being supported. Fine. But give old girl the choice in a matter. That's what I don't like. McKinley doesn't like that he's not sitting in first class, and I wouldn't want seats all the way in the back of the plane either. I'm not doing it. It has to be a dire emergency situation for me to sit at the back of the plane. Like, it's like a little first class kind of Comfort Plus kind of vibe over here. And Comfort Plus is right behind first class. Because when it's landing, it's time to go. And I also don't want any difficulty boarding. I don't like too much going on. Especially when it's crowded, no. But of course he's probably able to afford first class. He doesn't pay rent anywhere. So I'm sure he can afford first class. Aries asked Jasmine to feed him grapes, and I thought that was cute. I was like, that's something my boyfriend would ask me to do. He's silly like that. But if I asked him to feed me grapes in the tub, he'd throw them at me one by one. I'm pretty sure. Nicole is worried that someone experiencing her for, specifically on vacation, for multiple days back to back will allow them to find something about her that'll push them away. I think Nicole needs to identify how she feels about herself, because so often these people, like so many of these men's opinion of her have just like really seeped into genuinely how she feels about herself. And it's like, do you really feel that way about yourself? Or are you just letting how others say they feel about you become your own thoughts about yourself? And that's really sad. So I think Nicole needs to go discover how she feels about herself first and foremost. She said her ex told her that she's not ready for love. And that if she loved him, she'd let him burn her with a cigarette. I'm like, isn't that kind of like some crackhead behavior? Like, girl, what's going on? I'm enjoying seeing them open up. And Chris says his message to her exes is it's their loss. And I believe Nicole deserves that sort of interest, from a guy. So I'm happy for both of them. I think they're both giving reciprocal energy for each other. So look, told you I'm liable to switch up. They've risen to my top. I'm liking them. This seems very genuine and natural and real. So I'm rooting for them. Nicole has been very calm thus far, so I'll take it for what it is. And yes, that is the end of my review. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would be so kind as to like, comment, and subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. All right, bye.